Hi, my name's Emmanuel Carrillo. I'm here with children's literature for Professor Crenshaw. My the history books I chose was targeted for third graders, more into fourth graders. It's not a specific character I pick. I just pick a variety of different books for this specific age group, like around 8 years old. The first book I decided to do was Can You Make Them Behave? King George question mark by Sheen, Fritz, and Margaret Toms. This book is very readable about the King George III. It talks about the enemy of the colonists during the Revolutionary War. It's a fairly objective look at his life and the choices he made. Um, so that's pretty much about the book. It's about 48 pages. It's not too hard to read. Um, I thought, I rate this book like around 4 out of 5 because it's easy to read. And I think it attracts the students to read it. Students, because when I was a little kid, I didn't like to read history books at all. So I think this is a book, for children to read and won't be sidetracked too much during class as well. Um, it pretty much starts George when he was just a boy, and he was like about his like ill mannered, and then as George grows up along the path of becoming a king, he is tutored and like being he is tutored and he's being like treated like on how to act like a king. Also, after searching for the perfect queen, the story gives the account of their marriage, crowning, and their growing life together. The second book I decided to do is called Patriots, and this is by A.J. Langkuth. Patriots is a resource for casual readers. Same thing. It's around age group of around 8 years old. This book obtains a broad overview of the American Revolution, and who wants to meet its magnetic personalities. Readers who might not want to labor over like 1,000 pages of reading. This book is pretty much about 463, and it's well written narrative history. And this is part more of a advanced fourth graders compared, I would think, because in elementary there's classes for gate. So I think this book would be around the same age group, which is for kids that are more advanced. Um, the next book I decided to do is um, What You Sign Here, John Hancock. This book, it's about the main character is John Hancock, of course. The setting is pretty much based off Massachusetts. The time changes is from the childhood to 1776, and then narrator focuses on John Hancock. This book it's about a historical biography based on John Hancock. The book highlights his childhood and his development into the person many historians know him as. John Hancock is presented in an appealing and entertaining manner that grabs the interesting of all readers. This book also talks about him growing up wealthy and enjoying the finer leavings of life, not like other people that was raised poor and then worked his way up. uh, Even though he has this privilege of this great upbringing of his life, by most people, he began donating money and items because of the attention it brought him and how he loved helping others. The book is very clear when it comes to discussing John Hancock's love, Massachusetts, and its people. Hancock always did what was best for the people of Massachusetts, which is why he refused to pay the excessive taxes King George demanded. As of that, the cause of that, it led to the string of events of his great success in America. He was the first to sign of course, the Declaration of Independence, and made sure he signed very large so that King George was able to see his signature without the glasses, which is I think that's kind of funny. Um, you know, this book for the classroom use and theme, I will use this book in more of like around fourth grade because it has great information based on John Hancock, and also this book highlights mainly on his signature of the Declaration of Independence, which is the most important thing of America, of course. Um, Also, this book is a great addition for literature unit, for historical figures and social studies of American history. And this book truly helps students, understand what happened in history and why we're here today. And this is, I think, a really good book. The next book I decided to do, this is for a basic book. It says from my research it's around 8 years old, and this book is named a picture book of Thomas Jefferson by David A. Alder, John Wallner, and Alexander Wallner too. This book, uh, it's not it's not this book's more of a illustration type of book. It's still I don't know why. I in my opinion, I see it as more of a third grader's book, maybe second, but it's listed as a fourth grader book. Maybe it's a book just to catch the the children's attention. Because there's some classes, there's some fourth graders can could pay attention to a hard book of like 500 pages, and there's some classes that or fourth graders that just can't. And the annotation of this book is a picture book of Thomas Jefferson, which is a short story of the life of Thomas Jefferson. Of course, it gives a brief, broad overview, but it gives specific facts. What's necessary of history that involves Thomas Jefferson. The illustration and cartoon versions are portray realistic pictures, which is I think pretty good. It's not like too kiddish, so it's like more for kids for around fourth graders. I think I give this book around 3 stars because it provides a decent, amount of information about, Jefferson, an easy way to understand. And I think this book reminds me of days working, days, working at, a tutoring center for kids, and it's a good memory for me when I see this kind of type of book. It's because I used to, read books to children back in the day. Also, for a classroom, connection, like I said, around fourth graders, it's just a little small biography of their own using information. But the next book I decided to do is Who Was George Washington by Roberta Edwards, Nancy Harrison, the illustrator, and True Kelly, the illustrator. This book is it's made for around 8 years old fourth graders. This book is also a great biography for young readers. Unlike looking at Lincoln, this book isn't necessary for classroom reading because it's just a thicker book. I think, in my opinion, it's I think it's a thicker book, and also but it's still a good book for younger readers to see. That the text and pictures make the book fun and interesting for children to read. Like look at the title of the book. If you research who is George Washington, it's a big head of George Washington with a small body, which is it's kind of funny. So it attracts children, of course. If I find it funny, it's gonna attract children as well. So comparing all these books, yeah, there's gonna be some books that are just kind of too brief for children, and then there's other books that are just I think it's for advanced for fourth graders. So some books are more overview of the historical, and just gives out pretty much the basic information of what happened. And then the other few books from the 5 selections I picked actually gives out because it's a thick book, it gets great detail for children who are advanced and apply logic and into the reading and understand the concept of what they're reading. And this is what I give, and this is what I saw and I read for the historical nonfiction book for children literature. So thank you for listening to me, Professor. And it was a good 8 weeks for this class, and I hope you had a good summer. Thank you.